Welcome, everyone. I am Sarah Erickson, Vice President of Sales and Marketing here at Renegade Games Studios, and you are now watching the Renegade Rundown panel, where we are going to be discussing all sorts of games that we have recently announced, ones that are coming out soon, and if you stick around until the end, we have some good spoilers for you too. We are focusing in this panel on board games. So just in case you're really excited about Power Rangers, we also have a panel focused just on what's coming out for Power Rangers, and that is tomorrow. So we're gonna get started. We, all three of us, me, Scott Gata, President and Publisher here at Renegade Game Studios, and Dan, who is our senior producer for board games. We're all here to talk about things, and we all have things that we're really excited about sharing with you. So if you have questions, please post those in chat, and we will do our best to get to them. And we're going to jump right in because, wow, we had a crazy busy last couple months announcing things. That's kind of our thing at Renegade, though. We've got lots of stuff going on. So who wants to start? Who is on this? It looks like Dan. What's the thing you're excited about that we recently announced?
Well, I think, I don't have the order, but I think Snallygaster, is that the one I'm excited about? Of course I'm excited about the Snallygaster situation.
I know you're excited about that one.
So this is the Snallygaster situation. This is a Kids on Bikes board game. So if you're familiar with our Kids on Bikes RPG or any of that we've had several releases for, it's set in that same universe, but this is the first time we're doing a board game implementation of that in that universe. So we're talking, Stranger Things, E.T., Goonies, 1980s good time, riding bikes around. So this game is super awesome. It's for 2 to 5 players. It is mostly cooperative. There is one player. Like the kind of the premise of the game is that you are kids riding around, and there's a monster that is terrorizing your town. And one of your friends, the new kid in town, has been abducted by this monster. And you, as a group, have to kind of navigate the town to find out clues, to defeat the monster, to find your lost friend, and also avoid some feds that are driving around the board looking for you and looking for trouble, looking for the monster. It's really quite unique. One player will take the role of that lost kid who is, kind of not actively looking around fighting for the monster, but they also control the monster. So they have an active role of like playing these cards, these lost kid cards that move the monsters and the feds around the board. So they're actively trying to keep the monster away from all of the other kids who are looking for him. But at the same time, those cards that they play give clues to the rest of the team, to the rest of the players, about where they are on the board, where they are lost, because they're in a specific location. So it's a real nice push and pull between keeping the other players safe and also giving good clues between of where you are. And once the lost kid is found, they then join their friends. They have special powers, and they go to take down the monster in the game. There are 4 different monsters. We've got the Snallygaster, which is the namesake. He's the hardest. They all have different difficulties. We've got the Dover Demon. Pretty cool. We've got the Jersey Devil. This is the easiest one, but he's still quite hard. And we've got Bloody Mary. And each of these monsters functions quite differently. Some of them have like hidden movement, and you just don't know where they are until they pop up and come at you through a mirror. Some of them have you do side quests often do some. It's just quite awesome. So that's on. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask. So, what is a Snallygaster specifically?
It's like this guy. He's like a chicken. It's just like that. He's like a chicken monster with tentacles.
Oh, a chicken with tentacles now makes yes.
Cthulhu chicken monster.
Oh,
just
okay.
Like
it's a monster you don't want to run into in a dark alley because it looks terrifying.
Yeah. So each kid
has
that they're used. Oh, go ahead.
No, what was it? What do they ride? They have. They have
Yeah,
cool rides.
at the beginning of the game, you get your own ride, which customizes how you move around. So there's everything from roller skates to rollerblades to bikes to junker bikes to go karts to a sparkle pony as a promo item. There's a wheelchair. There's a whole bunch of different rides that each give you special powers and different ways to move around the board, like a skateboard that can let you grind on the fences instead of having to go around them. You can grind over them and through them. It's all pretty sweet. There's lots of cool items like dice caltrops and water holy hyperhydrators, all sorts of fun references back to the '80s, Legos, and all sorts of fun stuff.
Legos are the worst caltrops ever.
I agree.
You've got caltrops on your shirt right now.
I do. That's right.
Watch out.
Yeah. No, Legos are evil. All right, that sounds awesome. So my wife, Robin, she is most terrified of Bloody Mary. She heard that we put Bloody Mary in this game. She was not a fan. I just have to say.
Yikes. Also, if anybody wants to see a little bit more about this game, pretty much right after this little chat, we will be doing a live play of this Snallygaster situation. So if you want to see a full playthrough, people playing it live, that starts here on Twitch at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So you get to see what that looks like.
It's available for pre-order right now with a special bonus. If you pre-order it now, there's a bonus pack that you get that's called the Far Out Rides bonus pack. Comes with a special standee that is in this pack that is a little alien dressed up as a human, like kind of, but you can use. And then there's also 3 exclusive ride cards. I think there's rollerblades, a go-kart, and the sparkle pony.
Yay! I'm very excited about the sparkle pony. Oh, that's exciting. So within the Kids on Bikes universe, we have another card game coming up. You want to tell us about that one too, Dan?
We do.
Woo! You have a copy of it.
I do. I have a copy of it right here. It's glorious. I love this cover art. So this is called Duel of Wands. So within the Kids on Bikes universe, there's Kids on Bikes, then Teens in Space, and then Kids on Brooms. Oops, this finger. Kids on Brooms. And that is, kids in going to a magic university to study and cast spells and learn all about that, like some other franchise we might know of. But this is a card game that is set in that universe, and it's a 2-player only card duel. And it's kind of in the lore of Kids on Brooms. This is kind of a way that they can settle disputes. So instead of, all-out brawls or, gossiping or whatever, they can do a actual, like, legitimate go to their teachers or whatever and say, we're going to do a duel of wands to resolve this conflict. And that's kind of something in that universe. So this is a way to do that with a card game. And each player has a deck, and at the beginning of each game, you will kind of get to customize it a little bit with several cards. You'll get to go back and forth, and the object of the game is to remove your opponent's psyche. There's a specific card called the Psyche, and it's kind of a game of cat and mouse where you don't know if they have it in their hand, or you don't know if you're trying to make sure that they don't remove it from your hand in some way or make you discard it. So you're doing a little cat and mouse with your deck. And one of the interesting things about it is it's not a single game. It's like a best 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5. And if you lose the first game of the match, then you get to upgrade your deck with more cards. And then, so there's a little bit of a upgrading, like a little catch-up mechanism. If you're a little bit better, then you can get upgraded cards and try to defeat them next time. And then if they lose, they get to upgrade their deck. And then you have the final battle. So Duel of Wands, quick little dueling card game. And another cool feature about this that I didn't mention is that there are rules in here that outline kind of how you can use this in your role-playing adventures. So when you're doing Kids on Brooms role-playing, in the middle of your RPG session, you can kind of stop and integrate this into that as a way to resolve battles or conflicts.
this one also, just so people know, is available to play all weekend long. We have demos going on over on our Discord channel. And if you just want to jump in and try it out, grab a friend and you can play it on your own, or we're happy to teach you. And if you're wondering where you would find a link to that, you can just go to renegadegames.com, and there's a link up at the top to the Renegade convention. And that'll take you to our schedule. It'll show you all the demos we have going on. There's a link to our Discord channel there. So that's kind of the one-stop shop to find out about all this stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I think the Kids on Bikes, Kids on Brooms universe is just so interesting. And I love little games that you can play in the middle of an RPG as well. Just sort of takes you into a deeper dive of a situation you've got going on in your RPG. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, pretty cool. Awesome. And all right. So I think next up, I was going to talk about Scott Pilgrim Miniatures the World. Does that sound okay? We can talk about that one?
Yeah.
So
big brawl game.
So, big brawl game. So this one's been in the works for a while. It's taken a little bit longer than we originally thought it would take. COVID last year kind of set us back a little bit because this is a very, very detailed project. Pre-painted miniatures, really elaborate boards that pop up with 3D terrain, fountains and tables and chairs and drum kits and all sorts of stuff, stages. So getting all that perfect and right took some time, and things slowed down a little bit last year, so it slowed us down. But the good news is it's done. It's on the way. It's somewhere along on the water, on the ocean somewhere. As long as Godzilla doesn't pop up and sink our boat, we should be good. It won't happen, Sarah. There's lots of boats. The odds that Godzilla will get our boat is small. So,
well, I don't know. I just saw the Snallygaster situation. There was a scary monster tentacle chicken creature there that's probably coming after Scott Pilgrim next. So we just need to keep Dan away from it.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim can handle the Snallygaster. It's okay.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, there's one of the many boxes.
Yeah. So you want to explain what this is, Scott? This is not the toy box. This is.
Yeah, I can't see it. You're blurry. Oh, is that the collector's box?
This is the collector's edition.
Yeah, so that's the collector's edition. It opens up, really cool window box, and has all the figures from all the different expansions in there. And yeah, so that was a SKU that we did for collectors, people that might not be gamers but really wanted to collect all the Scott Pilgrim cast members and characters from all the graphics. And that comes in that really cool, it has like a Velcro attachment on there.
No, it's a magnet lock.
Oh, magnetic. So magnet box. Yeah, opens up and you can kind of just display all your figures. But if you wanted to play the game, all those come in the main box set, all the expansions, all the evil X's, all the good guys and bad guys. So they're on their way, and I believe this is hitting sometime in April or May. Sarah, is that our ETA?
April.
Yeah, April. Okay, so April. So not too long, right around the corner. We're in the Lunar New Year now, and but this one's already in transit, so that's really nice. But yeah, Scott Pilgrim Miniatures the World. Fighting, battling miniature game where you get to smash people over the drums, kick them through the ceiling, and battle all the evil X's. And there you go. So now's a good time while you're waiting for April to come to go reread all the graphic novels and get in the mood. And then you can play Scott Pilgrim the Jerk and all his friends.
So I have one little behind the scenes tidbit for this one. So Scott really likes to test things out and be sort of secretive about stuff he's planning. And so this game kind of really started all the way back with a little game we did called Planet Defenders, where we took a game that was really cool and then added pre-painted miniatures to it. And the reason we did that was because Scott wanted to make sure that we had everything perfect and sorted out to be able to do pre-painted miniatures in the future, specifically for Scott Pilgrim. So there's a little behind the curtain sneak peek. Yeah.
That is true. Planet Defenders got a pre-painted miniatures upgrade to help pave the way for Scott Pilgrim. So.
And it's an awesome little game, but.
It is, right. So there you go. Good on nice. Planet Defender.
So speaking of games that are almost here that we are really excited for, Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game is a game that we did on Kickstarter last fall, and it is so close to being on a boat ready for all of us to start playing with it. And I can't tell you how excited I am for this game because I love card games. I love deck building. I love being able to strategize and think about my deck and then go to a big tournament and play with tons and tons of other people who are also excited about it. And that's what we're going to be doing with Vampire. We just announced this week our organized play program that we're working towards with this one, including an online league that starts in just a couple weeks. So if you're excited about that type of game and you love the World of Darkness universe, definitely make sure and check this out. And just like the other games we've mentioned, ooh, that's a pretty box. Oh, I can't wait. Big. That's exciting. Yeah, it is. There's a lot going on in there. And we're also doing demos for this weekend. So if you haven't gotten a chance to play it yet, again, you can go to renegadegames.com and check that out. So that is coming down the pathway very quickly, but there's a ton of information about it. I can't go into all the details, all the 4 different clans that it starts with, all the extra stuff you get in the box. But I know it's not here yet. I know there's a lot of information about it, but we also have we have something else that we're going to spoil later about it. We'll talk about that when we get a little bit later. We'll talk about that in the spoiler section because we haven't announced it yet. So we'll come back to that one. But yeah, if you're excited about Vampire, there you go.
Cool.
That's going to be good. Dan, there's another recent Kickstarter we did. Do you want to talk about Embarcadero?
I would love to talk about Embarcadero. Yeah, Embarcadero is a great. It's a let's see, it's a mid Euro, I would say, a game that is really tactical in its execution. The setting is San Francisco, just after the gold rush, or just kind of during the gold rush in the 1850s, and the story behind it is really cool. And the designers kind of went all out on the theme. They designed it kind of top down with this theme in mind. So all these people came to San Francisco to mine for gold, and they came via boat or whatever as one of the ways. And they just kind of abandoned their boats to go mine for gold. And so over time, all the wharves in San Francisco just kind of built up with a bunch of dead ships. And they were also at the same time, the San Francisco was getting all crowded. They looking for real estate and said, hey, let's kind of build out into the ocean. So they started sinking these boats and building on top of them, which is a really cool concept. And what they've kind of executed in this game, there's these little, what we call structure cubes that are little buildings. These are kind of some early samples of them. But you will build, you'll park boats on the wharves, on the piers in San Francisco throughout the course of the game. And then you will build buildings on top of them. So the game has a nice verticality to it. You build up to like 4 of these high. And you're kind of going for area control on those wharves. You're trying to score points in various ways because each of the buildings have different themes to them. Some you want to build high, some you want to get a bunch of different kinds. There's some really great. The designers are Ed Marriott and why is it driving me?
I'm forgetting his name. Oh no, I know what he looks like. Oh dear.
We'll
find out.
Oh no.
Adam Buckingham.
There we go.
I'm so sorry, Adam. Adam and Ed did a great job on this.
Adam, it has nothing to do with you. Dan is getting very old. He just confessed to us that he's getting glasses. So I think he's a little rattled with the aging. It's finally caught up to him.
Yeah. So anyway, Embarcadero is great. It's 1 to 4 players in the box. There's an expansion that is available. It goes to 5 players. What?
Here we go. I think we need to get Dan tested.
What? What did I
do? He needs those glasses quickly. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're excited about Embarcadero.
I'm excited about Embarcadero.
I'm about to get my pack out check, my final off the line sample. I don't have that yet. It's coming. I think it's on its way right now. So I'm super excited. one of the things that we did right at like during the Kickstarter campaign, as a result of some of the feedback, was that we made the boats and the building tiles kind of dual layered with little like Lego nodes on there, so that the structure cubes will sit into them, and so that they'll be able to stack nice and secure. So there's not a lot of wobbling in there. Really excited for that and how that's going to look on the table and function. It's a really tight economic game in terms of how you play it. You've got like 12 actions in the whole game, and each one is really, you got to make it count, and your money is tight. But it's really, really great. So looking forward to seeing that.
That's cool. I was in San Francisco a couple of years ago, and I did a tour, like an Embarcadero tour, like the whole underground and everything, and how they built the city on top of all this. And then there was that whole underground. Like there was some shady stuff going on down there in the Embarcadero. So it's really a fascinating, interesting piece of San Francisco history. So I would recommend, if you're into that sort of stuff, do a Google and stuff. But yeah, it's not boring, dry history. It's pretty interesting, and definitely there was a dark side of it too.
I'm really surprised that no one has done this as a board game before, because it's such a cool and unique theme. But I also really like that the designers of this found the theme first and built an amazing game around that. This is the most thematic Euro game I've played in a really long time. It's definitely not just a dry, I love economic strategy games, so that's okay, but it's good, a strong economic strategy game and filled with amazing things. I really like both of those about it.
Yeah.
Should be a lot of fun.
Oh, so somebody in chat, Dan, was like, Dan's clock is Eastern Standard Time, LOL. Dan,
it's late. I'm an old man and it's late.
That's right. Dan is on the East Coast, so it is past his bedtime. So be honored. He stayed up.
That's right.
Dan also has. He also has a real clock. I haven't seen one of those in years.
I love it.
Yeah, they don't make those. Or like, is your office in a school? Looks like it's that's like the last clock that I saw in a school.
You're just jealous.
It probably is this year. I mean, Dan's whole
That's
house
true.
is basically a school this year.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
we have
that's
6
true.
students running around.
What's next? I know. I want to hear about Hadrian's Wall. What's going on with that from Shem Phillips, Dan?
Hadrian's Wall is awesome. Hadrian's Wall, I don't have a sample. I had some, and she's got one.
Can you see this one?
Oh, crap. So,
I was reading the rule book.
It is intense. It is awesome. So this is
I'm
from Garf. Go ahead.
I may have pulled a muscle just picking this up. This thing is heavy.
It is dense. It is super dense. As most of Shem's games are from Garfield, it's packed to the brim with stuff. But this one it's a flip and fill, not a roll and write, a flip and fill. It's got these big sheets of paper, and each person gets 2 of those. And those are really dense with lots of information in them. And this game is one that when I learned how to play it, I immediately played a solo version of it, and it's one that I couldn't sleep that night. I finished the game, and then I tried to go to sleep, but my mind was racing with all the possibilities and all the combos and things I would do differently next time. And I immediately the next day got up and played again. It was just that cool. If you're familiar with any of the roll and write games that are very combo-tastic, like Ganz Schön Clever, or that type of, fill in this to get this, and then that unlocks this and that. This has that in spades. You build off, start your turn and get a certain amount of resources, and then just see how far you can stretch it. Very cool, very fun. The setting is that you're kind of building a wall and building up your society at the same time. It's really dense, really brain burny, but excellent. If you love heavy, thinky, combo-tastic games, this is for you. Great solo version.
Can't wait.
Yes.
If I can make dinner fast enough, this is what I'm doing tonight. This is my plan.
Dinner, it's bedtime,
Nice.
Sarah.
That's right. It's already 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, funny.
Well, I'm excited to get another copy. So I had to give away my copies for. I guess one might have gone to Sarah. So.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Oh no,
Nice.
we'll get you a copy soon. This one is coming out sometime in the next couple months. We will give you that information soon. But yeah, keep watching. I know there's lots of reviews out there for this one too. So if you want to see a little bit more of the gameplay, just look for reviews from a whole bunch of different awesome media reviewers out there.
No.
Very cool.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Sarah,
Yeah.
tell us about a game about
Aggressive.
angry cats. Yes.
She's not a cat. She's a red
Oh, that's
panda. Thank you very much.
She's a red panda.
But she is very adorable. So if you're not familiar with Agretsuko, this is a graphic novel from Oni Press and a Netflix show. And originally the character is from Sanrio, the company that also makes Hello Kitty and Gudetama and other wonderful characters you probably know and love. So Agretsuko is an adorable, sort of shy red panda that works in a very large office building and has a horrible pig creature for a boss. He's actually a pig. And she has a lot of stress in her life. So I'm sure some of you can relate to that. And to get out that stress when she's done working at the end of a long, hard office working day, she goes to a karaoke bar by herself and screams into the microphone death metal music to get out all of that angst. And it's a fantastic Netflix show. Definitely go and check it out tonight. All the episodes are really short and fun to watch. And we are making a game based on that with our friends over at Oni Press. And that game is Agretsuko Work Rage Balance. And the idea of this is it's a little card game where you are trying to get rid of cards in your hand, but you can go into rage mode, which makes sense. And that'll help you sort of get rid of some extra cards and do some angry things. And you're trying to get rid of all the cards in your hand before anybody else does. So it's very similar to the game Pickles, if you've played that one, but it has some fun little twists that make it thematic for Agretsuko. So yeah, I feel like I can relate to that after having to work with Scott all day, every day.
Nice. You go do some karaoke death metal. Yeah.
Yep, seems appropriate.
All right. Fine. That's fine. That's fair. That's fair. I'll take it. We'll get you back later. It's fine.
Oh no. But yeah, please check this one out. It's also coming out in April. Super adorable. And this is also a really good one to play with your whole family. So if you have a group of people who maybe aren't super hardcore Euro economic strategy gamers that live in your house, but you still want to do something with them, this is a really good game for that.
Cool. All right. I think next up, I'm going to talk about Gravwell. We just announced that, right? We just said Gravwell 2.0, second edition for Gravwell. So if you're not familiar with Gravwell, this was one of the first games that Renegade published way back when. And that game is a really crazy hidden movement race from it's a bunch of ships that just came through a singularity, and you're all racing to get to the warp gate and escape. But gravity is in flux and things are really squirrely, and you're drafting cards and trying to move your ship through, and there's a lot of leapfrogging around each other, using each other to move around the track. And the game did really well. It won a Mensa Select Award, and it's been one of our most, just steady sellers. And Corey Young, the game's designer, for a few years had different ideas to expand the game and maybe do an expansion, and we just had some different player powers that we were messing around with and just all sorts of stuff. And we decided to give the game a total revamp, put in all this new gameplay, put in options for player powers, up the player count to 6 players, have different modes of play, so you could actually be coming in from opposite directions and crashing into each other and just all sorts of stuff. It's an amazing game. Quinn's from Shut Up and Sit Down did a review of this kind of like way back in the day. It's hilarious. I suggest you go check it out. Spoiler, he liked the game. So Gravwell 2.0, all new art by Kwanchai Moria, all new gameplay, all new ship sculpts. We threw away all the old sculpts, sculpted all the new ships, the player ships, different alien ships, just everything. And Dan, I think, even has some of the prototype sculpts of the ships, right? You got some
I
samples?
do. Yes, these are not the correct colors or anything, but these are some of the where is it? Oh, there's one of the ships.
Nice.
Cool. There's this one.
Nice.
Look at that.
We get the full 3D turnarounds. Nice.
Well, it's important because in this game you think you're going forward and then suddenly you're going backwards. So it's nice that you can flip around quickly.
This one's the ice cream cone, like an alien ice cream cone,
nice.
like a. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go. Hey.
I like that you were giving sound effects when you were doing the turnarounds too. That was good.
I'm almost done.
Nice.
Oh, we have a good question for you, Scott. Would you be able to play 2.0 as if it were the original?
You don't have to play with the player powers. You can play.
That's
correct. Can play as the original. So there's a few different modes of game included. So if you like kind of the way it was, you can play it just like that. But then you can play all the new content as well. It all comes in the same box. So
Very cool.
And that's in production now. And like Dan has the samples, the prototypes, but it's in manufacturing and will be shipping to us right after the new year. So we should have that kind of late spring, early summer for you.
Can I talk a little bit about the player powers, or is that spoiling too much?
No, tell us all the player powers.
Okay, so I don't think we've said this yet, but the way the player powers work, so each ship, like if I was this ship, I would get I think 4 cards that are like my dashboard, and they have graphic design and illustrations by Kwanchai that like look like this ship, the inside of this ship would look, and they're double-sided cards, and on one side it'll say like a requirement for what you need to do, what you need to accomplish on the board to get whatever ability it is. So you'll have each ship based on how it is. Like this one's like a racing ship, so it's going to be faster than the other ones, and this one's an alien one and it's going to grab other people. But they all have different requirements on one side, and then once you do that, you can flip it over and then use that ability, and then once you use the ability, it flips back over. So there's activating the powers and figuring out it's the game within the game. It's not just trying to get out, but it's using your powers effectively and making sure you can activate them by jumping over people or landing on people or whatever the particular requirement is to make those happen. It's really neat and gives some different feel to each of the ships. There still is one of the 4 is your emergency stop. So if you're familiar with the first game, that one was if all of a sudden you're going to go backwards 5 spaces, you can flip that over. Everyone still has that kind of as a base move, but then they each have 3 different moves that are specific to their ship kind of feel.
Yeah, it's fun. This one's been in the works for a while, and it was time to pull the trigger and kind of give it this upgraded treatment. We're excited about it. Hopefully you check it out. If you like the original game, I think you'll like this one, and just gives you more. And if you never played the game, check it out. It's really fun. It's a great family game. All right.
Definitely.
Dan. Tell
World's
us about
Fair?
World's Fair 1893. Yeah.
Boom. That one
Yeah,
right there.
There you go.
That's the one.
Nice.
So this is World's Fair. If you're not familiar, this is a game that came out how many years ago?
I think 2016.
Yeah,
2016?
yeah, that sounds about right.
By J. Alex Kevern, and it is a worker placement game that is themed around the World's Fair in 1893, where you got this nice big Ferris wheel here, and you're riding that around. You're collecting exhibits, and you're trying to get your exhibit to be favored and get the most points for showing off your things in these various categories. The game came out in 2016, as we said, and was well received. People loved it, but it and eventually got sold out, and we let it be in the Renegade vault for a while, and decided to bring it back. There was some clamor for it, and we were excited to bring it back, but we wanted to do something slightly different, similar to what Scott was just talking about with Gravwell, but not in the gameplay function. So this game is, for all intents and purposes, gameplay wise, identical to the 2016 version. What's different about it? Well, the box, obviously. This is a fancy new box that we're real proud of. I think it looks great and really unique. But also, we wanted to take the opportunity to take a look at some of the influential character cards that were included. And at this time in 1893, there was the World's Fair was supposed to be this gathering of peoples from around the world, showing off the technologies and the culture and everything about the world. But unfortunately, at this time, there was not a lot of opportunities for people of color and some of these other less some of the people weren't equally represented. But there were people at this time who were advocating for better representation among peoples of color, and we wanted to represent that within the game. The game has these influential figure cards that are part of the gameplay, and we introduced in this version six new characters that are just, again, the gameplay is the same. This is just the illustration and the flavor that has changed, but we wanted to represent some more diverse people, influential figures from this time period. We worked with Jade Rogers, who's a cultural consultant, to identify some people who were more influential during that time. So we made sure we were doing it right. We had Beth Sobel illustrate some new characters, who's the same illustrator who did the original ones. So we have people like Ida B. Wells. We've got Fannie Barrier Williams. We've got Irvine Garland Penn. We've got Susan B. Anthony. We've got Frederick Douglass, well, and Frederick Law Olmsted. So we've broadened the scope of the influential figures while retaining the same great balance that this game is known for. It's got a really nice balance. So, yeah, that's what's different about this.
Yeah. And there's also a nice, there's a short essay in the back of the rule book as well, right, Dan? That kind of gives you an overview of what these influential figures, how they were active socially, and how they were involved in the fair in their own way during that time, right? And that was written by Jade. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Yep. Cool.
So we've had a few people ask about whether or not they can buy a promo pack that updates their original version of the game to include these new influential figures. That's a wonderful question, and I don't have an answer for you yet. But we are thinking about, we appreciate the thought, and when we have a good answer for that, we will certainly make sure and let you know. So thank you for that question.
Yeah, and we should also say this game is available exclusively on Amazon right now. Part of the process of updating this game is, like Dan said, we invest in new artwork and cultural consultant and really just upgrading the game. And part of what made that happen was Amazon actually stepped up and said, we want to help make this happen and back this game, and made it in Amazon and committed to purchasing a fairly decent quantity of product and selling it on their site. So right now, if you want that, just go to Amazon.com, and it's available now, I believe, right? As of this week, it's up there and they're shipping it. So there you go. So yeah, so that's a good thing. They stepped up, helped make it happen, so we wanted to support them in turn, because without them, we may not have been able to pull it all off. So there you go.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Right.
Oh, I want to talk I want to talk about not a game.
Okay, you can talk about not a game. I lied at the beginning.
Okay.
I said we were mostly talking about board games, but I guess that's not true.
well, we are mostly talking about board games, but like, something that just we announced recently is not really a game, but it's really cool and something I really like. So you may have noticed that Renegade started to get into puzzles recently, and we have a lot more puzzles that we're going to be announcing later in the year. But one of the new puzzle licenses that we did announce, and I believe up for pre-orders and shipping pretty soon, are EC Comics. So if you're familiar with EC Comics were horror comics that originated in the 50s, and they were very controversial at the time. These comic books actually were the cause of congressional hearings. Comic books came under from the 50s for being blamed for juvenile delinquency and just everything that children would possibly do wrong. Comic books were being blamed for. And there was these congressional hearings that were very, very much targeting EC Comics because they were these horror comics that were fairly controversial at the time. They were pretty edgy for the 50s. And some of the greatest artists of all time did art for EC Comics, artists like Frazetta and Al Williamson. And we ran a poll and we got feedback collectors. And not surprisingly, many of those artists' covers were chosen. And the very first wave of EC Comics puzzles feature, there's a Frank Frazetta cover, there's an Al Williamson cover, and there's a couple more in there. But those are on the way now. And if these do well, we'll plan on doing more in the future. We actually have a different title planned for probably Christmas time that has a interesting Christmas. So yeah, check it out. If you're a puzzle fan, I like Sarah's reaction to my hints because it's a Christmas image. Might not be in the spirit of EC Comics. Yeah, it's Christmas. But yeah, if you're a puzzle fan, if you're a horror fan, if you're a fan of amazingly awesome art, check out the EC Comics puzzles. And stay tuned. We have some other puzzle news coming in the next few months for lots of different people. I think players are going to really like too. All right.
I will also say I'm kind of a puzzle nerd. I do a lot of puzzles, my husband and I do, and we only just got our sample copies of these last night, and they're really nice. There's almost no dust. All the pieces come inside a Ziploc bag, which is amazing. There's a nice, reasonably sized image, so two people can do it at the same time. One can look at the cover, one can look at the other image. Just every single thing that I want in a puzzle checked off the list. So yeah. I can't wait to put these together. Yeah. I think they're going to be really good.
Somebody in chat, the other pieces of art is Wally Wood, who's an amazing artist. And then I believe the fourth one we picked was Al Feltz, was the other piece of art. So check them out. They're pretty cool.
Can I show you some of these pieces? I just want to open this up really fast. I'll show you what this looks like in here. So
Sarah's gonna start building a puzzle during.
I know. I'm done with you guys. Now I'm gonna go puzzle for a little while. So
that's right.
Yeah, these are really clean. That's the other thing that drives me nuts about puzzles is sometimes when the edges are kind of frayed or they don't fit together really nicely. These are super clean, very precise, and we used a brand new knife, so everything has a little bit more distinction. You'll definitely know if the piece fits together or not. So
they've got a linen finish on them as well.
Yeah,
linen. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and this was the one thing, right? Like being a game company with puzzles, and we were surprised that all these puzzles come in plastic bags that you have to rip open and then throw away, and then throw all your puzzles back, and then puzzle pieces get lost. And we were like, wait a second, gamers, we just put Ziploc bags in our games. Why don't we just make the bag that comes with the pieces a Ziploc bag? So you can. So there you go, dreams, and put a little gamer know-how into our puzzles. Nice.
Definitely better. Yeah, I'm quite excited about that. I hate losing pieces. That's the worst. So
yeah.
All right.
Well,
nice.
Before Sarah starts building a new puzzle, what else is going on? We've had some additions to the Renegade team recently, right?
Yeah.
Dan, who joined you? You have a new addition. Who's
Yeah.
new member of your team?
So Jimmy Lee has joined us as an associate producer and is going to be helping us out. There's just, as you can see, I mean, that list of projects we just went through was, just like a small portion of what we're doing. So there's a lot of things going on. So yeah, brought on Jimmy. He used to work at Fantasy Flight on the OP team. So we're really happy to have his experience brought to ours. He's got a lot of passion. He's a gamer and loves what he does. So we're excited to have him on board. He just started last week.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, and I'm sure, hopefully he's not drowning already, but should be doing good. Sarah, you have some exciting news.
So Scott got each one of us a Christmas present this year. I got somebody to help me. Dan got somebody to help him. And Elisa over in RPGs also got a friend. So we're all very lucky. So Matt Holland is my fantastic helper who is actually our sales and marketing program manager. And it's a fancy title that basically means he is creating and executing awesome programs that make all of our games better. And the first thing that he started working on right the minute they showed up was the Vampire Organized Play program. So if you want to know more about what we're doing with Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game, he's actually doing a full interview about that tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And he'll go through all the details, tell you how you can get involved. If you're really excited about building a community or just playing this game, definitely go watch that interview with him and he'll tell you everything you need to know. But Vampire is not the only game that he's going to be working on. That's just the first one that he's really getting up and running. He's writing tournament rules. He also came from the organized play team at Fantasy Flight, so he has a ton of experience. And he really likes to make really pretty promo items. So he's working on some super cool prizes for the rest of the year for Vampire. Yeah, and he's going to be working on some fun stuff for other games soon too, which should be exciting. But yeah, I'm very, very happy to have Matt on our team. We are so lucky that he decided to join us.
Yeah. And then the other new addition to our team, Trivia Fox, joined Elisa Teague in our role-playing game department. And Trivia came from us with lots of experience from Roll20 and just knows role-playing games. And she actually has done a lot of art direction. She most recently was an art director on Thirsty Sword Lesbians, which I believe is an RPG that she did with a friend of hers. I saw something on social media just today. I don't know if it's shipping or it's something, but check it out if that's your thing. So she worked on that, but she's working with Elisa. Elisa's not with us today on the stream because Elisa is very, very busy working on lots of role-playing books for World of Darkness, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Power Rangers, and some other stuff that we haven't even announced. So we didn't want to have her come on the stream because there's too many books, all the books. So Trivia is helping her out with all those books. So there we go. So yeah, we're really happy that those folks joined us. Like Sarah just mentioned, Vampire Play, check that out. And then I think the last thing, like news-wise, we did announce this, but we just wanted to touch on it again really quickly. World of Darkness, we've expanded our relationship with Paradox and the World of Darkness team beyond just the Rivals card game. And now we are the publishing partner for the World of Darkness role-playing game books. And I know in our opening a few hours ago, somebody asked about news about those. We're not going to share anything new this weekend about the World of Darkness role-playing games. I'll say the same thing that I said there. We have many, many books in the works. Several of those books we'll see this year. And by June, we have another Renegade Con coming up kind of late spring, early summer. And at that convention, we will have a lot more very detailed, specific news and probably even more than just news, probably stuff to just show you and let you play by then. So stay tuned. We'll have stuff for you soon. Did you hear that, Elisa? I said they're going to have stuff to play by June. So get cracking.
That sounds like a threat.
That's, in case you haven't noticed, that's how we do things here at Renegade. We announce things and tell our fans that we are going to give them some, and then everybody behind this, we are loves. Christmas date doesn't move. We have to make the toys, and we have to have the toys ready for Christmas morning. So it's Christmas morning for World of the Darkness fans in June. There you go. How's that?
Ooh, that's a pretty good spoiler.
Right.
I like it.
It is a pretty good spoiler. Let's talk about some other new stuff that people haven't seen at all yet, and maybe a few little tidbits. So, Dan, there was a game of stuff in space, kind of.
Space? Okay, so some of you might have been familiar with a game we released last year called Stellar. Stellar is a great card game, a 2-player only card game by Matt Riddle and Ben Pinchback. Beautiful production, fun and thinky card game. Just really right up my alley personally for gameplay. So they approached us with kind of a follow-up to that, and that's Subastral. So Subastral, if that word is foreign to you, it just means below the sky. And so Stellar was a card game about, celestial bodies and moons and planets and all those things up there. Subastral is a game about the biomes of Earth. And it is also by Matt Riddle and Ben Pinchback. Has beautiful illustrations by Beth Sobel. And we're really excited about this one. This is kind of in this. It's not similar to Stellar in gameplay, except that it's a card game by the same designers that is thinky with some really unique card placement mechanics. So in this one, there's all the 8 different biomes of Earth represented, and it's from 2 to 5 players. Plays in 20 to 30 minutes, so it really fits in that nice filler space. And it's got that same thing where you play a card and then there's a tricky decision to make. You play a card and then you're either taking cards into your hand to refill it, or you're putting cards into a tableau, but they fill in a really interesting way of set collection, and you have to be tricky about how you do it and where you place it, whether it's towards the sun or away from the sun. Really a fun game that really fits in that same wheelhouse of thinky filler card games that Matt Riddle and Ben Pinchback really have succeeded in. So take a look at that one. Check it out.
Yeah.
I think what I'm most impressed about with this one is that there are a million little 2-player card games out there, because cards are something that people have had for so long. It's so easy to design with them. And so to see something like Subastral that's really, truly unique and yet is still simple and elegant is really unusual. We get pitched tons of games all the time, and I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this one. So it's really neat that way. Definitely want to check that out.
I would also say one thing I forgot to mention, like in Stellar, on all the cards, there's a little factoid at the bottom about science, about the celestial bodies and stuff. And that was fun to put together, and it's fun to, as you're waiting for your turn, you can look and see a science fact. Same thing here on Subastral, where we've got these 8 biomes, and each card has a fact about that biome, whether it's what percentage of the Earth that biome covers, or what the annual rainfall is, or that and what animals burrow, or whatever it is. It was fun coming up with those, and you can learn something while it's not your turn.
Look at that! You can learn things by playing games.
That's right. That's right.
Imagine that.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. We don't even give you fun, we give you knowledge. All right. How about mystery, Dan?
Yeah,
do we have anything in the mystery category coming up?
We do. This is a new thing for us, a brand new thing. Scott, you want to give the background on what this is and why we're doing it, and I can tell a little more specifics?
Sure. So Dan and I both came from a company that did a game way back in the day called How to Host a Murder Mystery. And we like those games, and those games are very popular. They don't, there's other people that did them, but the company that we were with, Decipher, did the original one, and they kind of started that genre. I think that game was actually credited for creating the LARP at one of the earlier Gen Cons, like when they were giving out all these awards in history through gaming. It was kind of the precursor to that. And then you fast forward to present day, and two game designers who I had met who specialize in these types of games and puzzles and just really, really cool kind of social experiences are the same designers that did Escape Room in the Box. So, and they had approached us and I had approached them, and we started talking about all different projects. And we said, what if we could do a mystery type game, not just about murders, but it could be anything, any mystery that you're trying to solve, but it's more of a hybrid experience, not just, a scripted thing where I come and I play a character, but I don't even know if I was I was a killer or not. Like, what if it was truly a cooperative experience where we're playing characters, we can get dressed up if we want, we can just play it without getting dressed up, but there's a board, there's more interactive, there's components, there's puzzles to solve, things like that. So kind of taking that escape room and dinner mystery thing and making it a little bit more contemporary, a little bit more modern day with the way people are playing games now. And Crimes and Capers was born. So here we are.
So I can take it from there. So Crimes and Capers, as you said, is this overarching brand that we're coming out with, and we have 2 SKUs that we're launching with. The first 2 are, each of these will share the DNA I was just talking about, where experience, analog and in the box, and we're going to solve puzzles together and try to figure out who done it or where it is or whatever. But each one will be a separate theme. The first one is called High School Hijinks, and this takes place in 1998. It's got all the it kind of looks like Saved by the Bell and kind of retro looking thing, and each player takes on the role of kind of a click leader. So you could be the jock, the senior from the jocks, or the drama king or drama queen, or the brain or whatever, and you take on that role, and you're trying to. What happened in the drama is that everyone was getting their magic cards, or they're not their magic cards. We wouldn't say magic cards. I'm sorry. Their mystic cards got stolen. And Romy is the and she's been framed. So we, as the high school seniors, love Romy, and we want to exonerate her because we know she would never do this. So it's looking at the notes that were passed that day, figuring out which teacher framed her or which staff member framed her, and kind of working together to do that. The second one we're doing is called Lady Leona's Last Wishes. And this is kind of set in olden times, upstairs, downstairs situation. And the Lady Leona was kind of a pain in the butt, but she loved puzzles, and she loved making people's lives miserable. So she died, and the people in her life are gathered for the reading of her will, and this includes family members and staff from her house, and they all gather to hear the reading of her will. And it turns out that she has made her will into a puzzle, and you have to figure out where she hid her will or where she hid the treasure, and try to find out where it is. Each of these comes with kind of a box this is a prototype, not the final, but it's got a locked box you need to find. Like there's a combination that you need to figure out together as a group that will unlock the box, and special things will be inside, which will not be the final answer, but then you'll have more clues to figure out more puzzles and more challenges. So very cool, very fun. We've gotten to experience this. These have been tested a ton of times by the 2 designers. They've run this through many groups. Despite the social distancing challenges, they've found ways to do that, to guarantee that these are super fun for any ages, any groups. No prior knowledge required, no special skills required. You don't need to be a deduction expert or anything. Just come and play the game.
Yeah.
One thing I really like about
Go ahead, Sarah.
Sorry. One thing I really like about this is that in a lot of the sort of mystery solving deduction games I've played, they're pretty hard. And so one person will be just diving into it and figuring out all the clues and going maybe at a different speed than the rest of the group. That really can't happen in this one because each person is playing a character essentially, and you have your own information that only your character would know, and you're sharing that with the group. It's cooperative, so you want to help everybody out, but the person over there across the table isn't going to know the stuff that you know. So everybody is participating. Everybody needs to be telling the rest of the group what their character knows and looking for clues within their own materials. And so everybody is involved for the whole game and helping each other out. So it's a really different feeling as an experience than some of the other puzzle solving games that I've played. And it was really fun that way.
Yeah, no, it's great. So the two designers, Juliana and Ariel, who go by the Wild Optimists, they've actually done panels at previous Renegade Cons about puzzle design and things like that. I would encourage you to look them up on Facebook. You can look up Wild Optimists and check them out. They do a lot of stuff, not just in the tabletop space. They design things for escape rooms. They design things for Hollywood studios, interactive experiences. They're really good. This is what we set out to do. This far exceeded even our internal expectations of the type of experience and what we wanted to do in this genre. So we're really excited about this. We have 3 episodes in the works. We're going to launch with 2 episodes, and then a 3rd episode will come later down the road. And we'll just go from there. So, is your thing? I would say you probably want to check this one out, because I'm pretty confident that we did something good here. So check it out. Check out Juliana and Ariel's other work as well. Escape Room in a Box is amazing. There's a couple different episodes out. Those are out from Mattel, so they're pretty easy to find. But they're really good as well. So there you go. Dan.
Very nice.
What's the most ridiculous project that we've had to work on at Renegade? Like the game that we just probably shouldn't even have tried.
By far, 100%, my father's work.
My father's work. So
T.C. Petty the third.
Right. T.C. Petty the second was just interviewed recently, I think right before our stream. But T.C. Petty the third, worked on this game. So the story, I've told this story a few times. So if you're in the stream, you may have heard it. The short version of it is when TC had this game out at an unpub, out on this table, just like not a certain inch of space on the table, like just filled with components. And I walked up to him and said, "Hey, what is this game?" And he said, "Oh, you don't want to play this game. It takes hours to play, and you wouldn't want to publish it." And that piqued my interest. So I sat down, and he was right. It was a bear. There's a lot going on. It's a massive production. But yeah, we took it on, and this game has been in the works for, even with us, this game has been in the works for what, 2 to 2.5 years?
Yep. And before that, TC was writing and doing all the other stuff for I don't know, 3 years before that. So been in the works for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll let Dan tell you a little bit about it. I would definitely say if you missed the TC interview about an hour ago that was on the stream, be sure to check it out when it posts on YouTube. That interview goes into some stuff, but this project is ambitious. There's a lot going on. Give us the rundown, Dan, because you're hip deep in it.
Sure. So at its core, well, let's see, it's a midweight Euro. Okay, worker placement. That's kind of what this game is. But the theming of it is what really makes this game stand out and shine. So you are the story elements of it. You are set in Victorian times and Victorian Gothic horror. You are a mad scientist, and you're not. Your father was a mad scientist, and he's just died, and he's left you his castle and his all the rooms in his castle and his notebook, and you find some journals and some scraps of like his masterwork that he was working towards, and you start to kind of pick up the mantle and work towards completing my father's work, his masterwork, and you'll be doing that kind of competitively against other players who are also doing it. Maybe those are siblings who have also gotten pieces of his journal and are working on different masterworks. But you will not finish this in one generation. You will die, and then you will lose most of your work, and then you will pass on your scraps of journals to your descendants, who will then pick up the mantle again and keep going. You'll do this 3 times until hopefully you've made enough like cyclical progress to be able to finally, by the end of the 3rd generation, complete your father's work, your master work, through leveling up your knowledge in the occult and engineering and chemistry and biology, through completing experiments, through running to town and all this stuff. So that's the basic premise: is you're doing a bunch of experiments trying to work up to the knowledge level to complete your father's masterwork. But layered over top of that is an ambitious, story-driven, choose your own adventure, crazy, multiple winding pathway, app-driven experience. It's crazy and awesome. So you're doing this and you're trying to complete this masterwork, but all of a sudden it'll be like the Salem witch trials, and you have to decide, which does the butcher die or does the baker die, and you have to secretly vote for that. And it's crazy, and that based on what you choose, your worker placement board, which is like a book that will change, and it will go through the course of these generations, where you have different maps and different choices that happen, different results that really impact your game as you're going through it. So by the end, you have a very unique experience that probably wouldn't be duplicated in 50 tries because of how all the different branching pathways work. It just turns out different every time, and there are multiple different scenarios. So this is a big, ambitious product that is super deluxeified. We like as Scott said, we've been working on it for 2.5 years. We're super excited about it and can't wait to show it to you and share it with you.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy the amount of stuff that like we've put into this thing. Like the app is, you couldn't do this game without doing it in an app. It would be the type of thing like, we've all played those games where you get the big book and it's like go through the giant book and find entries and read entries and stuff, and it just wouldn't do this game justice, and it would just make it way too fiddly. So the app is going to be a key part of it, and really the replayability is just amazing. But I like it because you get to build a spider chariot.
That's what I did. That's my favorite.
I've done that one before too. I think I failed at it.
You've done the spider chariot? You failed? Yeah. It's hard. It's hard.
About this, one of my favorite things that I don't, you'll have to experience the game to see this come through. But TC Petty's humor, he's a funny guy, and he has a really kind of dry wit, and it's a little twisted, and you can see it come through in the experiments that are there. The flavor text, all the cards have flavor text. You get just the things that happen. You go insane and your wife leaves you or your spouse leaves you. It's crazy fun.
Yeah. So the thing that impresses me the most about this game is I can't tell you how much I love campaign games. I would be surprised if you could put a campaign game in chat that I haven't played through, because I eat them up like crazy. And the thing about all those campaign games, almost all of them at least, is they fit into one of 2 categories. Either the storyline is pretty on rails, where you can maybe deviate a little bit, but you're going down a path, or the storyline is actually just a bunch of random things where you have a big overarching storyline, but you go on sort of randomized quests by rolling a die or doing something that just picks a random new thing that you have to deal with, and then you kind of go back to the storyline. This is actually a flowchart. So at the very beginning of the game, every single decision that you make will take you down a different, unique path for a story that you could never get to without taking that exact path. And it is not random. Every choice you make matters. And there is just no game that I have ever played that's like that. And it is so much more work to make it happen that way that you don't see that very often, if ever. I can't think of a game that's ever done that. So that's why this is such a cool, big project.
I like too how,
and like additionally,
oh, go for it.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I like how sometimes you're That the delay. So sometimes you're making these decisions cooperatively, but it's still a competitive game, right? So these cooperative decisions worm in the path sometimes, but the game's still competitive, and sometimes that information of things that you learn are hidden, right? Like it'll tell you to like pick up the device and see things, and you don't have to share those things, or there's like voting mechanisms, and yeah, it's cool. All right, Dan, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
What
no
did I
worries.
miss?
I was just going to say that to build on Sarah's point about all the uniqueness of it, that comes through in components too, and that's why it takes so long too, because
Yeah.
each of those branches has, it's not just now you use these universal components. No, each of those branches has unique components, different cards, different card frames, different art that aren't used anywhere else. So you might open this little box that has a bunch of things that you might not get to unless you've played a bunch of times and taken those paths to get to use those certain components. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah. There's I don't
Ooh,
even
I'm
know.
getting shivers. I can't
Yeah.
wait.
I don't even know if we attempted to figure out how many hours of gameplay with the replayability. It's
No,
yeah, it's crazy.
not yet.
So no, not yet. So coming soon, more info soon. That's kind of a spoiler we're teasing this weekend, just kind of putting it out there. But in a few months, we're gonna big giant information dump that you'll be able to get all the details and see everything from top to bottom. All right, Sarah, were you going to tell us anything about alchemy, or were you going to be stingy and not let anything out?
Well, we haven't actually put out Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game quite yet, but we're so close. Yeah. But we have been, this entire time that you've all been patiently waiting, we've been working really hard on expansions, because the delay that we experienced was 100% at the factory shipping logistics level. And we've been steaming ahead making cool stuff. Matt Hyra, the lead designer on this game, has been designing like crazy. I can see steam coming out of his ears every time I talk to him. And he is already through several expansions. But this one, Blood and Alchemy, is basically very close to ready to go. So we're going to get this to you very shortly after you get the core set, which is great. So Blood and Alchemy is an expansion set that has 2 new pre-made decks in it, but also a new crypt pack. So if you want to play those 2 new factions, so or the Thin Bloods, you have 2 totally new factions you can play. You can also take those cards and mix and match them with any of the cards from the core set. And then the crypt pack that comes in there also has extra cards for lots of different stuff that you could put into different decks. Just gives you more choices. If you love that deck building part of it, it's perfect for that, because you'll find new ways, new strategies that you can mix together. If you're really excited about those new clans, the Tremere and the Thin Bloods, then you're also all set. You've got some new stuff that's totally different than what you see in the original 4 clans there in the core set. So we just want to give you more options, because I know that you've been thinking about this for months and months now, and you have all sorts of ideas of how you want to build your decks. And this just will let you do that even more. And it also adds to that really competitive league play, our big tournaments that we have later this year, hopefully all the organized play we have planned. We want to see people doing really thoughtful, unique strategies with these cards that we give you. So giving you a bigger card pool is important for that. And we have more coming after that. We did actually do a community vote to see what the next clan was that people were really excited about. And before we did that vote, we let everybody know that we were going to have Tremere in this expansion set, because we knew you were excited about it. So the vote for what the next set is going to be, we actually announced that recently too, and we're doing La Sombra. So we have tons of clans coming out, but at least now you know the next 3, or at least 3 more that are coming. And we'll be revealing the second expansion not too long after that first one. So yeah, just so much going on. You have no idea. Like every day we're talking about Vampire.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I would also say, let me just say this real quick about the expansion. Just like in the core set, it includes a full play set of what you would need to purchase that. So you get 3 copies of all the regular cards and 1 copy of each of the vampires, so you don't need to purchase multiple of them for your personal collection.
Right. Yep. Yeah, this non-collectible game. So I was scrolling through the Vampire Mills art channel a few weeks ago, and I came across a card. So I guess Matt decided to. He's been making cards and using people that he knows, and I guess I've been turned into a card in a future set.
What?
Yes. Here's the thing. Here's where I'm a little concerned. They made me a Malkavian. So I'm not sure how to take that. Like I would say, if they asked, I would have said, well, Ventru is what I would choose because, Ventru. But no, they made me a Malkavian. If you don't know what Malkavians are, they're kind of insane. So I don't understand what
can just see into the future a little bit more than everybody else. It's not that they're crazy; it's that they are, better than everybody else.
Sounds about right.
I love the Malkavians.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to ask Kyra about this yet, but it's on my list to do.
I think we need an answer about that.
I think so too. So, well, I think that pretty much wraps it up, right? I think that's good.
Yeah, if you say so.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many other things going on, but we can leave it at that for now.
that was 90 minutes of new stuff.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I think that's a fair amount of stuff. We've got things in the works, so these are the most recent things.
But if you want to hear about more things coming up in the future, you can always sign up for our newsletter. And we do post all of our new stuff as soon as it's announced. The newsletter is the best place to find out about that. Or you can watch us on Facebook, Twitter. We do Twitch every Friday. We have new people being interviewed on our show. So follow us and we'll tell you about new stuff when it happens. Or you can follow Scott on social media, and when he accidentally spoils things, you'll see me yell at him.
There are well, there are no accidents, but you will yell. So there you
go. That's right. I have to keep my enemy of fun status somehow.
That's true. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. 90 minutes is a long time, and there's lots of great stuff. So we appreciate everybody spending time with us and learning all about it. And be sure to check the schedule. There's so much programming this weekend. Hopefully there's something for everybody. And, join us in Discord. We'll be in there too, popping around and answering questions as much as we can. So we'll see you at the next thing.
All right. Stick around for the Snallygaster Situation live play starting in about 5 minutes. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.